The reason why you keep regaining the weight is because every time you try to get healthy, you try to become a completely different person overnight. You go from survival mode, trying to eat perfectly, trying to train perfectly, trying to sleep perfectly, tracking everything, cutting out every single bad food, waking up at 5 a.m., drinking a gallon of water, meal prepping everything, and hitting cardio every single day. You constantly hold on to willpower and life just keeps punching you in the mouth repeatedly. Your work gets stressful, the kids need something, you miss sleep, you skip one workout, and then your brain goes, well, I already messed up once. So one meal turns into one weekend turns into 1 month, and suddenly you end up right back where you started from. And then you maybe end up heavier. And after enough cycles of this, you eventually stop trusting yourself. And then you spiral thinking, will I always fall off, or what's even the point? And I need you to hear me carefully when I say this. You are not failing because you're lazy. You are failing because there was no strategy that was ever built for your real life. And most diets are temporary by design. Keto diet, carnivore diet, intermittent fasting. They were filling a void inside of your life so that you didn't have to focus on the underlying issue. And that's why they work fast and fail every single time. Because if your fat loss plan only works through perfect weeks, then it was never a fat loss plan to begin with. Real life includes stress, bad sleep, busy schedules, traveling, date nights, low motivation, long work days, mental exhaustion, and the list continues. And if your plan fails every time life gets difficult, the problem isn't you. The issue is your approach. Because sustainable fat loss is not about doing the most. It's about building a lifestyle that you can repeat when life gets hard. And that is the difference. And to be honest with you, this is exactly where I think the fitness industry loses most busy adults. Everything is extreme. All or nothing, 75 hard, cut everything out, 2 workouts a day, perfect meal plans, never miss a session, and always grind. But most adults are already overwhelmed. They need structure, they need systems, and most importantly, they need something realistic enough that they can follow on stressful weeks. Because consistency on imperfect weeks is actually what changes your body. And honestly, here's the catch that nobody talks about. When most people regain weight, they typically blame food. But a lot of the time, the real issue is emotional exhaustion. You're not overeating because you're weak. You're overstimulated, under-recovered, mentally cooked, and you're relying on caffeine to get yourself through the day. And then food becomes comfort, a relief, an escape, a reward system. And then most people end up shaming themselves for it instead of actually fixing the real problem, their lifestyle. Because think about this logically. If your brain is constantly exhausted all day long, why would you think that you'd be able to make perfect decisions by 9 p.m.? That's why I tell people all the time, fat loss isn't a nutrition problem. It's a life management problem. Sleep matters, stress matters, recovery matters, your environments matter, your routine matters, the time you spend with loved ones matter. And this is why going too aggressive eventually backfires. I want you to picture this. You're in a car and your RPMs are at 9,000, redlining them all the time. Because sure, you're working hard, however, you're not accelerating forward at a high enough speed. And to be honest with you, you can white knuckle through a lot of things in a couple weeks. But eventually your nervous system will push back. You binge, you crash, you burn out, and then you just give up. And then that whole shame cycle starts all over again. So instead of you asking what's the fastest way to lose weight, start asking what can I realistically sustain for the next 2 years? And that changes everything. Because people who can consistently keep the weight off have got used to doing the boring things over a consecutive period of time. They walk more, they sleep better, they eat enough protein, they stop skipping meals, and most importantly, they don't binge at night. They stop chasing perfection and they end up recovering better even on the bad days. And honestly, that's less exciting than extreme diets and crazy transformations, but it actually works because the goal isn't to lose weight once. The goal is to become the type of person who no longer needs to start over. That's a real transformation. And if you've been in the cycle for the past couple years, just starting over every single Monday, feeling guilty after every bad weekend, feeling like you ruined everything based off of one mistake, I want you to really understand this. You do not need more punishment. You need a better system, a better approach to the problem that's in front of you. Not a fake influencer lifestyle, a perfect routine, or unsustainable meal plan. Because sustainable fitness should reduce stress, not become another source of it. And once you stop trying to go hard all the time, you start focusing on repeatability instead. And if you want to use the exact system myself and other busy clients have used to lose over 40 pounds, click the link below and book a free one-on-one call with me, or DM me on Instagram, and I'd love to talk about your current situation and point you in the positive direction.